Okay, let's do it. What's up, crypto junkies? Welcome to another video. Today we're gonna talk about just a couple pieces. We're gonna probably cruise some headlines as well and get you guys up to speed on what's going on. Okay, now the best way that you guys can stay up to date outside of these videos is to just use the breaking news tab in the Crypto Junkie Discord community, because a lot of these similar stories break there the minute that they're posted. Sometimes we even get them in that feed before they post to Twitter. Yeah, that's gonna be your best bet, especially for breaking news. Sometimes this does affect price action with some of these different coins and listings and things like that, and how that affects the price action. Like, I'll give you an example of that. Quick story. Gemini lists LTC, the fourth coin that it's now carrying. Nothing happened price action wise, but there's a time back in 2017, early 2018 that, you know, the price action would be affected very positively by a Coinbase listing or you know, a listing like that. And so Coinbase had a new listing just the other day and it didn't do anything for that coin either. So I don't know if that's a permanent thing and times are changing, or if that's just a right now because the market's down. So anyways, let's jump into it, yeah? Overall market cap is 201 billion. BTC dominance is 53%, which I have a video coming out. I just haven't shot it yet, talking about market cap, talking about liquidity issues, talking about order book volume, talking about a lot of variables that actually matter for figuring out what's really going on with the coin right now, like how liquid a coin is right now today, and can I sell? How easy is it for me to sell right now? These are great questions, by the way, and I don't feel like anyone's really answering it perfectly, but we'll talk about it and break down kind of all the pieces to it, right? We'll get to that soon. So the first story I want to start with is I've mentioned now this Senate hearing with Rubini, how that all kind of went down. We shot a video talking about it, breaking down his awful logic. We got blocked immediately. I don't remember what we posted. It wasn't even anything rude, because I usually don't get rude at all. Sometimes I do trigger up a little bit and say something. Okay, not that often, and it's never really that that hostile. Yeah, I don't remember what I said to him. We got banned, blocked by him yesterday, which is just like, he's blocking everybody that's like calling him out on any of this, but he's got no skin in the game. He was bragging about like him getting more applause than the other guy, which I can't remember his name at the moment. I'll show that on the screen, but I'll have his full side of the story. I haven't even read through his testimony yet, but I heard his testimony was really, really good actually. The other side of the story was Peter von Valkenburg. And this I heard is really good. I haven't read it yet. He's from Coin Center. This I heard is really, really good. He was the guy with the crazy hair, super calm and composed, and he made that comment about a spreadsheet from back in the day. So anyways, yeah, this is it. I got 5 times more applause than him. I don't understand why you would even use that as like a talking point, because it's nonsensical. And I don't like to say, it just further proves my point. I almost just did it, but it further proves to question this guy and his motives and who's behind him. That's it. That's all it is. In crypto, I've seen people go way harder on somebody for way less than this. So it's, yeah, he's getting no slack from the crypto community, and there's no prejudice there. Somebody tried to claim that I was being prejudiced the other day. They do this to everybody. Like, you gotta understand the crypto community. They do this to everybody, which is why a lot of people don't like the crypto community, especially like the OG original kind of people that have been in it a really long time on Twitter. So the bulk of what I wanna spend my time with you here today in this news story is this open letter by Charles Hodgkinson and Ken Kadama to the ADA or Cardano community. Now, here's what's really interesting. I grazed through this. I didn't even go through all there were 7 or 8 talking points of how essentially the foundation, which is a separate entity from the actual coin project itself, has failed miserably, and the guy who's running it, they're asking him to voluntarily step down. And so after reading through this, and I've always liked Charles, so I have kind of a sweet spot in my heart for this guy because he's just an authentic guy. You can tell that he means well, and he's out there parading around trying to just get people to use Cardano. I didn't know this, but they've been to over 50 countries now, talking to part of this 2 to 3 billion people, depending on the stat you read, of unbanked, banked challenged people on the planet. 50 countries. 50 countries. Impressive. Absolutely impressive. I had no idea. These guys need somebody who's really great at marketing. They need to bring on somebody who's really, really good at marketing, and that's one of the things that they actually suggested as well. So IOHK and Umurgo. I didn't know what that actually meant because I've never actually followed ADA that much. So Input Output HK Limited, that is Charles is technically the CEO of that, and then Umurgo Ken is the CEO of that. Okay, so now you know. All right, so let's talk about this. It starts off with essentially saying that the Cardano Foundation and the Cardano project are separate, and the foundation has fallen flat on its face and really hasn't done anything. So this is an open letter, by the way, if you didn't read this, okay? This is an open letter to the community. First off, take a step back for a second. I think they did an amazing job outlining, like, from a non-biased standpoint, what's going on. And most of it is about the foundation and the lack of performance. So how many points were there? 7 or 8? 8, okay. The big talking point that I'll kind of cover is, where is it here? Okay, so there used to be 4 council members. Michael Parsons is the chairman, and he never appointed, the other 3 walked away. He never appointed anyone else, brought in his family, his son-in-law, and has been running it ever since then and doing a really bad job. No reasonable attempts to fill the 2 council vacancies, okay? So, and he brought in his family for the other 2, so that's the 4, or one of the 2. So 4 total with Mr. Parsons? I'm not sure. But anyways, it's based in Switzerland, by the way, so it's under Swiss law. So what they're asking for, let's get down to the juicy stuff. Oh, 90% of ADA is in Japan. 90% of holders are in Japan, by the way. There's been no attempt to bring on anyone from Japan to the foundation in a position of power, or really from a lobbying standpoint to get on any of the Japanese exchanges. Like, why wouldn't you do that? So it's strange to me. The reason why this story really stood out to me is because I've been working with a coin project for the last 4 months. It's trying a hybrid DAO, and we all know that DAOs up until this point have failed. They've done really, really bad. It's something new and it's something tough, and it's gonna take a lot of deconditioning. You know, you got people with 20, 30, 40 years of corporate America conditioning, all jump and ship to crypto. That's great, but they're bringing all their bad habits with them. And when you push them up against the wall, they're going to go with what they feel the most comfortable with, and they're going to go back to their defaults. They're going to resort to their defaults, right? So with a project like this, it's just like the average person, the average crypto enthusiast will be thinking to themselves, like, how could that happen? Like, they won't even understand what all this means. Like, how could the foundation get so far out of whack, off course from the Cardano protocol? They probably don't realize that it's 2 separate things, and it's 2 separate entities that are run by 2 separate groups of people, all supposedly there for the love of the Cardano project and what it represents and what it can do. But you can get into that. That's such tricky water. All the paperwork, all the established, everything is in place. And so it leaves you with really no other option, because they can't throw this guy out. Nobody can. So it leaves you with no other option than to call out in line by line basis, like they did here, all the issues, and then kindly ask that this guy just step down. I think if this news article gets big enough, which I hope that this video helps that, guys, then it will maybe just embarrass this guy to step down, because he's obviously doing a poor job. Between 90% of the original ADA holders being in Japan, and no effort being done to bring in Japan in any sort of way, get on Japanese exchanges with ADA pairs, is just absolutely obnoxious. And then on top of that, like, I had no clue they've been to, Hodgkinson has been to 50 countries. Him and team have been to 50 countries over the last, how long? Over the past 3 years, I thought so. 50 countries over the last 3 years. So Charles has been out there grinding, man. They've been out there grinding, like, from a marketing standpoint. You know how easy that is to market? And there's been no effort to market at all. And there's been no effort to really let people know the USP. Like, what is Cardano's USP? Do you know? I don't. So everyone should, though. Everyone should know that. They should have a tagline that's just being branded, beaten into people's head so that they know what Cardano is. And that's becoming more and more important. Marketing is becoming more and more important with these projects. And that's something that I continually see a lot of these projects failing at, thinking that it doesn't matter, when marketing is how everything moves, my friends. Marketing is how everything moves. It's how everything is sold. Now would be the time for them to bring on just a rock star marketer that could really create the tagline, create the branding, and go and take everything that's already out there, all this public IP, all these videos of Charles on stage speaking, and start to turn this stuff into magic, and really give the community a direction and a marching order of, like, what are we? An identity. You know what I mean? And it has an identity, but nobody knows about it outside the community. So unless you start to like research ADA for whatever reason, and then you fall in love with it, yeah, great. But most people aren't even gonna get that far. So how do we go back and get those people, right? Because from a sophistication level, the whole market's shifting day by day. I can tell that, you know, and Charles is a really well-spoken guy. And I can tell that they're really uncomfortable with this whole thing and really disappointed. They really want this guy to step down because of the lack of progress and vision and everything. Like it's a big deal to have somebody run a foundation that's trying to change the world. And there's a lot of bad actors in this space that are not doing and will not do what they claim that they want to do. It's just talking points, guys. It's talking points to siphon more money out of your pocket. And nobody really wants to admit that, but that is a lot of people in the crypto space. And that's a lot of people on big coin projects, which I won't mention names, but you can just tell where their agenda and where their lobbying lies. So anyway, so let's talk about, this is the following actions that they are committing to. IOHK and Emergo are committing to by 2020, outside of this whole foundation and what's gonna happen with it. Meetups, groups, events, educational efforts, and other metrics that can be tracked. Quantifiable data, my friends. You don't know where you're going or where to go if you don't have data on what you're doing right now and what that's doing. What you're doing right now and what that's doing. No, on your actions that are being taken now and measuring the impact of those actions, okay? That's what we call metrics. So now they're coming up into this issue where foundation members and personnel want to leave. What do we do with them? They're going to try and bring them in to keep them in on the project, because that's what you do. That's what you do when you see your baby, something you love, that's being destroyed by somebody who, for whatever reason, isn't on the same page as you. It's cool. Yeah, it's a great piece, 10-minute read. Give it a read. News like this is going to become more and more relevant as the crypto space evolves, as the crypto space gets some age to it, because these are the real problems that are going to be faced. I'm just happy that they separated the protocol from the foundation so that it didn't tank the entire project. Because could you imagine if they were part of the same thing, what would be happening right now? ADA would be a disaster. Now, full disclosure, I haven't traded ADA. I don't hold any ADA in a long time. And it's because I got burned on it a couple times on Binance back in like November, December, and I made a rule with myself not to trade it anymore. Would I hold it? After reading a piece like this, it makes me want to hold ADA, but not trading it. The price action on it, I was never really that satisfied with, and it always seemed to do things that didn't make sense. And break my TA, so no, I didn't really get into it that much. Let's headline cruise for a couple seconds, transition into some other news. Sound good? Chairman of Korea's Financial Services Commission has reiterated his negative position on ICOs and digital currencies, though he does not deny the potential of blockchain. So what that means is that Korea will probably fall similar in line with China and India, that we've seen the state-backed cryptocurrency or digital currency based on some sort of asset pool. So a backed coin, which I don't mind. I actually don't mind that. And you know, for one like China, like they could have some serious world dominance with what they could back that with. Watch yesterday's video if you want more on what I was talking about. Okay, World Bank Group President Jim Yong Kim has stated that blockchain technology has huge potential that can help the organization leapfrog generations of bad practice. Somebody made a really great comment in the Crypto Junkie community yesterday, which was essentially that you have a ton of 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old kids who can't have a bank account, don't have a bank account yet, but will in the next 4 years, who have all experienced cryptocurrency, being able to send money in microseconds, that you are now going to be asked to go back to a primitive system. Ooh, it's going to be weird to watch that. So what happens as all these kids go into the workforce and they go into this like traditional way of doing it, never really knowing that, being almost born and raised on crypto and not instant, but fairly instant transactions and sending capabilities. And they got to go into a bank and fill out anti-terrorism, anti-money laundering, anti-blah, blah, blah. They get reported. They might get additional emails and phone calls from the bank itself. Their information is forwarded off to different 3-letter agencies in America, depending on how much they're trying to wire out. And they go through all that just to wire out the same amount of money. That's what happens when you start to wire out more than $10,000. Internationally, it becomes an even bigger disaster. How is that gonna all work when they go back to this like sort of primitive system? Because there are some really future-based people that are gonna have their kids up to speed on this. It's probably worse than that. 8-year-old, 10-year-old, 12-year-old. Parents are so excited about crypto. They love crypto and what it represents. They're teaching their kids how to use crypto. And they're watching this stuff move around quickly. Very quickly, not 3 days, no paperwork. What will they say the first time they go into a bank? Ah, man, it just blows my mind to think about that. It'll be a disaster. It'll be an absolute disaster. Oh, that's the next thing that I want to jump into. We got another piece. Let's jump into that now. Okay, 2 more quick headlines and then we'll jump into the next piece. First one is that, and this has been an ongoing story, but can't remember his name. He was an actor, Thai actor. He's actually had his passport revoked and he's been arrested and busted for the $24 million Bitcoin scam that he was involved in. We're gonna talk about the North Dakota Security Commissioner going after promoters for violating securities laws. Another former economic advisor to a former or current president has gone into crypto. So that's always good news. So let's get into this next piece, right? US regulator issues cease and desist orders against 3 crypto promoters. Now, everybody on YouTube, on Twitter, faces this same potential risk that lives in the United States or is a US resident of some sort. If they are making videos, using affiliate links, involved in bounty systems, guys, even bounty programs in the United States, this can affect how the Howey test would have worked for your ICO and your token sale and now your crypto project. It can have a negative effect that they might be able to come back on you for because of the bounty program. So if the bounty program was running during token sale, then yes, they can come after you and essentially you might have failed the Howey test. And if it's after the token sale, then it doesn't really matter, but it still can fall under some securities laws and regulations. You got to be careful about this. So there are some people that are continuing, like if you look at all the videos that we do on all of our channels, none of them have crypto-based affiliate links. I rarely talk about this stuff anymore because I recognize, like, you know, when things were at its height and everything that we were talking about, like, one, I didn't realize the responsibility that I had as a YouTube creator and a content creator, and then I wasn't really thinking like that I could get in trouble for it, and I wasn't really thinking that, gosh, this might inadvertently lead to something bad in somebody's life. And it wasn't until all that stuff imploded with the investment platforms that I got the dose of reality. And you see, we completely changed and we haven't gone back. That's what change looks like. So in life, you make mistakes and you just kind of keep dialing it in, right? I don't look at it as black and white as success and failure. You just kind of keep dialing in until you get the desired result you want, okay? So anyways, I'm not up to speed on any of the hip current Ponzi's, investment platforms, lending platforms, or anything that is crypto-based investment in any sort of way. I have no clue what's going on with that stuff. But I'll tell you that it looks like they're continuing, you know, the probe, continuing to push. Okay, so who is this? Investors should be exceedingly cautious when considering a related investment. Yeah, that's true. So what are the companies? Life Cross Chain, what? Life Cross Chain, Lico. That's one of them. And the other one is Advertsa Holdings. Offers cryptocurrencies called Tiza Coin or Tiza. Claims holders can expect to make profit from appreciation of the value of the Tiza coins. Tiza tokens. Okay, this is an expected return. There's 3 sections on the Howey test. What was this, section 3? Yeah, 2 or 3, section 2 or 3. This right there makes them fail that section because there is a expected profit or return that they are essentially claiming just by mentioning that in any sort of way. You don't have to use the words guaranteed or any of it. Oh, it's really tricky territory. And I'm sure they were running a bounty program or affiliate program as well, which means they really failed. And they are 100% liable now for that. So I guess that'll be interesting to see. But this is still going on. This is, I talked yesterday in a news piece about 100 ICOs that are being gone after. Some of it's being done kind of secretly and privately with refunding token investors, and some of it, you know, won't be. Some of it will be loud and sprayed all across mainstream media because they will refuse to pack it up and walk away. But this is still some of the stuff that we're dealing with. So that's all I got for you in this video, my friends. Be on the lookout. I've got a couple more detailed pieces coming out. Obviously, I want to talk about the other side of the committee, the Senate committee that happened yesterday. It's still a really hot topic. I'll probably shoot that and upload that today And then also too, I've got another piece on market cap and liquidity in that whole conversation, which we started getting into a little bit of that with the Bitmain IPO. And so I want to further that conversation, give you guys some more information around that. So if this is your first time to the channel, take a second, please support us. Click the subscribe and bell notification, or just click the like button, hit the thumbs up real quick. That'll also make sure that this video gets out more and gets more action on it. And then of course, if you want to interact with us, place a comment underneath the video and one of our moderators will engage with you. So hopefully we can get some educated and great discussion going on in the comment section. I think that would be great. That's it for this video. Check the channel very soon for more content being uploaded. See ya.